Hi, welcome to threatandignorance.com and my blog, The Government Mushroom. In the UK we have what I would consider a bloated and overinflated government that basically, at the current time, sucks up around about 45% of the British GDP. This, as far as I'm concerned, is unacceptable. Now, after having a little look around, I found a breakdown of 5 of the key areas that basically cost the British economy the most, and they are all the government. Pensions, 119.3 billion. National Health Service, 121.3 billion. Welfare, 112.7 billion. And then defence, around about 45 billion, education around about 91 billion. Now, you know, it amazes me that the least spent on is defence, considering, you know, in today's world, you know, we are fighting wars, or we have been in a continuous state of war now for about 10 years. So I would query that that particular one, really. The education, 91.8 billion. Now, as far as I'm concerned, education should be the most important aspect of our spending, but it's not. However, welfare, on the other hand, benefits, as far as I'm concerned, you know, they're a false economy. Basically, what's happened in the United Kingdom, or Great Britain, or England, however you want to look at it, is that it is now a lifestyle to be on benefits. You know, it pays. You know, because of the various schemes going on, you don't have to pay for things like your rent, your council tax, or anything like that. Whereas as a taxpayer, you literally have to pay for everything, every single thing. You know, it's unbelievable. But I will get into that in another video. What I'm really looking at now is the size of the government. Really, it should be a lot smaller than what it is. But for some reason, we now have an interventionist type government who enjoy, like, basically spending money on keeping us wrapped in cotton wool. You know, I mean, like, for example, the welfare thing. Nobody wants to make the hard choices. Nobody wants to cut the benefits and say, hey, look, why have you been at work, like, at home for 6 years? You haven't had to work. You know, so, I mean, like, there are things they can do to save money, in order to, you know, and also boost the economy to get people back into work. At the moment, we're in this sort of socialist-capitalist hybrid. Basically, we are a socialist country with socialist ideals, as in, you know, the state controls all, the be all and end all. But yet we want capitalism because it makes more money than socialism, and it makes more common sense than socialism. So we've ended up with this mishmash, largely thanks to the Labour government and the Conservative governments through the various decades, making absolute cock-up after cock-up. And, you know, we've gone from socialist to capitalist to socialist to capitalist to socialist to capitalist, and now we're back to capitalism. You know, it just does not work. We need a definitive change of direction. We need to turn around and say, look, guys, either we have the National Health Service, we have the benefit system, you know, we have massive social spending, but the country will be poor. Or we can have capitalism. We can lift up the individuals, give them extra money, and make them spend money into the economy to make sure that it works. You know, it's absolutely, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Really. I mean, look at what's happening in America. For example, America really gave birth to capitalism, and it became the most powerful nation because of it. But now, you know, you've got like Obama in there, and he's put in Obamacare and Medicare and all of that kind of stuff in there, all socialist ideas. And he's bankrupting the United States. Now, why is it we can look at that and say that that's the truth, but then when we look at Britain, we don't like to admit it? You know, we don't like to look in on ourselves. And that's really where we are at the moment, I think, is we're looking out everyone else and criticising, but we don't like to look at ourselves. I mean, we have to reform the National Health Service. We have to largely privatise hospital services, as far as I'm concerned, and get people onto insurance. Get rid of the national insurance, you know, because at the end of the day, if you're a healthy guy or a girl for your entire life, why should you be paying for all those people out there who want to live unhealthy lifestyles and get things like cancers? You know, or obviously nobody wants to get a cancer, but you know what I'm saying. By living that style, by de facto, you're giving yourself those things. You know, it's, you know, at the end of the day, we shouldn't have, you know, the National Health Service was good in its day, but now it's just a very, 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 very expensive thing, which offers half of what it used to. You know, it has more options and more services available, of course, but what it also has is a much bigger running cost, and it also has the fact that, you know, they will always give you the cheapest of every drug, the cheapest of this, they'll buy the cheapest equipment, which doesn't necessarily give you the best healthcare. You know, so we could do a reforming of that. In regards to the ambulance services and trauma care, that kind of thing, we could just follow the US really, and have, you know, have it merged with the fire brigade, and have like basically you know, firefighters trained up to paramedic level, you know, and have them working in conjunction, because at the end of the day they're an emergency service. Why shouldn't they be doing that? You know, one of the main reasons we're in such a mess at the moment is because of government interventionism. If you look, you only have to look at the economies of the world, especially the US, for example, that since 1970, when they got rid of the gold standard, their government has also exploded in size and in cost. You know, and they spend about 25% of their GDP on their government. You know, and it's just getting bigger every year. We need to slim it down. We need to cut it back. Otherwise, it will bankrupt us. You know, and the banks. I wouldn't bail out the banks. Don't bail them out. You know, give them money first time round. Give benefit of the doubt. You know, which is what we have done, by the way. But you know, if they continue to hold the money and give out big bonuses, you know, then say no. Until you start lending, we're not giving you no more money. If you fail, you fail. It'll be hard in the short term for us, no doubt, no doubt. But in the long term, it's better than indebting our children and our grandchildren for decades to come. You know, for the sake of keeping the banks happy now. You know, what comes next? Well, nobody knows what comes next. Let's put it that way. But the way I'm seeing things now is that we need, you know, there is a financial storm heading our way, and what we really need to be doing is to reduce the size of the government, increase, you know, private sector spending, and you know, and get our industry back up and running. You know, and really, when the storm does come, we want to be in a port. We don't want to be out on the open ocean, because we are going to be in serious, serious trouble. Anyway. You know, there's a lot more details within the written words of the blog, and I really hope that you can read through that and leave a comment. Alright guys, well, keep it real.